listening to Race Day Live on Downforce UK, brought to you by Clapham North MOT, Motorsport Days Live, Stopwatch Hospitality, and Trade Price Cars.
Yes.
Excellent. Okay, so fifth on the grid. That's a good starting point for Bogdan Ionut-Bria. And we have the 9-year-old superstar, Lucas Vlusha-Cross. All good?
Yes.
So sixth position to first. Can we do that?
Yes.
Excellent. Grazie. Gracias. Okay, so over to the man in seventh position on the grid. We're going to try and get through them all before we run out of time here. We have the man from the Philippines, William Go, for Pierce Sexton Racing. Things have been going really good this weekend. How do you feel now?
I think it's great for being P7, right behind top 5.
Excellent. So in terms of the pace, it's been really, really even over the course of this race. Do you think there's a podium possibly out of this final race? Can you see that happening?
Possible.
Excellent. So what's going to be the hardest thing about this final? Is it the length of the race that's just going to keep the tyres very interesting?
The competitive drivers.
Fantastic. So you're looking forward to this one?
Yeah.
All fired up. Good job, William. Have a great race in front of you. So over on the far side next to him, we have Sergio Ruiz having a great weekend so far. You were on the front row in qualifying. You're here now. This could be a really exciting race. Mucho bueno?
Yeah.
No? Okay. We'll get him some English words eventually. I'll give him a phrase book. Anyway, let's head over to the fourth winner of the weekend, Patrice Kowalewski. Tu aimes le Mariembourg ici?
Yes.
Excellent. I thought you would. So, encore une fois pour la victoire?
Yes.
I thought so. Merci bien, Patrice. So he's going for the win one more time. Here is Miguel Pero de Zaraga. All good, Miguel. How are things?
What?
You're going well so far?
Yes.
Excellent. Can we win from here?
Of course.
Of course, he says. Okay, so we're all fired up. Good man. Let's talk to the Estonian in 11th on the grid, Ruben Volt. Ruben, you've been very consistent over the course of the weekend, but here's going to be a tough one from back here. Can we still win?
Yes.
So what's going to be the toughest part of the race? Do you think it'll take you long to get through the field?
I think so.
So where's this race going to be won and lost, do you think?
Top 3.
Within the top 3, that's squabble. Okay, thank you, Ruben. Let's have a quick word with Nathan Ottink at the far end of the grid. Nathan, you've had a victory already this weekend, so you've already won. Can't we do it again from back here?
I'm ready to win. Yeah.
So you think you can do it? It's going to be a hard mission to come all the way through, but where do you think you can make some good overtaking moves?
I don't know.
You just make it up as you go.
Yeah.
Good man. Excellent. That's what he always does. He's so good at it. And now we have Kimi Abraham, who's shaking his fist at me. Don't worry. I can do it in French if you like, Kimi. That's absolutely fine. Tu aimes la Mariembourg?
Oui.
Oui. Quelle position à la finale?
Top 3.
Top 3. Okay, top 3. Good job. Bien, Kimi. So there you go. That is every single one of the grid. We won't be able to do that for every one of the classes, of course. But fortunately, these X30 Mini drivers don't tend to say an awful lot. So we have now had at least one word, usually in their own mother tongues, of course. But good to see them all getting ready for the off. It's going to be an amazing race, this one, with all of the drivers putting on a great show from the front end of the grid. But that front row is going to be a really exciting one with Alejandro Melendez and Gabriel Bectas on the front row. That's going to be really exciting. And then on the second row, we have the two Belgians, Amaury Mertens and Angelo Melli on that second row of the grid. They're going to be really, really exciting from that front end. We have the Spaniard, Bogdan Ionut-Bria, and of course his countryman, Lucas Vlusha-Cross on that third row of the grid. And then in behind for the Pierce Sexton Racing Team, we have the Filipino driver, William Go, on that 7th position on the inside line. Sergio Ruiz of España on the 8th position mark there. 9th position on the grid, the Belgian talent, Patrice Kowalewski. He'll be a really interesting one. And, of course, Miguel Pero de Zaraga in 10th position on the grid with our final 3 drivers. Ruben Volt of Estonia, just having a quick chat over there. Nathan Ottink, the Flying Dutchman. We're going to call him that from now on, the Flying Dutchman. And, of course, Kimi Abraham, the race winner in Heat 1 yesterday. So there's going to be a great battle for the victory in X30 Minis, which gets underway in a little under 6 minutes' time. But considering over the course of the weekend we have had 4 races thus far, and we've got 4 different winners to talk about, That's absolutely incredible because we had Kimi Abraham, we had Nathan Ottink, Miguel Perro-Rosalaga, and in that previous race, Patrice Kovalevsky. So there's lots of drivers in this field who can win. The stands are starting to get busy up here at the start-finish straight as people are starting to gather to watch this last race of the weekend with the top points available for this round of the championship in the final. And the drivers are going to have a really good race. Yesterday, I think it's fair to say, ladies and gentlemen, the X30 Minis was the best race yesterday, wasn't it? I think so. I thought it was the best race of all of them. They did an absolutely terrific job, and there were 11 lead changes between 4 drivers in 6 laps yesterday, would you believe? It's absolutely incredible. So the drivers here are obviously going to give us one of the best shows, and I put the challenge out there to the juniors, super shifters and seniors to come up with a better final than these guys are going to give us. I don't think you can. So the X30 Minis are going to be absolutely fantastic as they charge off into the distance, and there's going to be an amazing run for these drivers as they battle away around this second round of the championship at Mariembourg. So based on last time, it's going to be a close battle because we had Alejandro Melendez winning at Salbris. But now there's going to be a really strong charge for all of the drivers as they battle away for position. But for all those of you watching at home on the Telemundi Media live stream, and of course listening via the Downforce UK Spreaker application on your mobile phones, wherever you may be in the world, the mechanics are just having one final word with their drivers as they get themselves underway. The race itself will start in about 4 minutes' time, which gives me just enough time to get back up into the commentary box and greet my new co-star for the next 4 races. And it'll be a good opportune moment for him to talk about his racing. We'll chat about how things have been going in Senior X30 and how things are currently going. But it's going to be a really exciting race for the Senior Mini X30s coming out soon. And from that front row of the grid, having the likes of Alejandro Melendez and Gabriel Bektas right at the front, that's going to be a really exciting battle. So the drivers once again gearing themselves up for the action in the X30 Minis. And it's very, very difficult to predict who is going to be our race winner because there are 4 drivers in this field who have won races, and there are another 9 of them who have come close to winning over the course of the weekend. So 13 drivers on the grid, and actually all of them are incredibly closely matched. So it is going to be very interesting to see how these drivers are going to fare. Now, fortunately for these last 4 races, I'm not going to be alone in my commentary box position because I'm going to have an esteemed colleague who's going to share the microphones with me. So we need to be readying ourselves up for what promises to be a really exciting race battle. And I have a new co-commentator with me for these last 4 races. I'm very pleased to say, joining me up in the commentary box here, I've just made it. I'm absolutely out of breath, Leo. Goodness me. But joining me in the commentary box is Leonardo Paniotu from the Senior X30s. Hello, Leo. Thank you for joining me.
Hello.
So tell us a little bit about how the weekend has progressed, because obviously it's been a very tough battle in Senior X30 throughout. I mean, how have you found it overall?
Well, I've been struggling all weekend, really. I've been having loads of problems with the cart, so haven't really got anywhere.
I understand, but the good thing is you've had a really good team behind you, because the BMR BTCC karting squad is actually really doing an amazing job right now.
Yeah, they are. I think we've all been having problems, though. It's not been great. But I think we could do all right in the final.
So obviously you've got 2 or 3 drivers in that final, and it is going to be a very interesting challenge to see who actually comes through and puts on a good show. Now we're going to be looking at the X30 Minis coming up next. Now you obviously started your career in karts fairly similar to these in terms of speed, and you've obviously been in finals of a similar sort of nature to this in terms of pressure. What can these guys expect?
I'm not sure, because I never did anything this big when I was that age.
So you did club racing at that sort of level, but obviously when you're in the final and you've got a great chance to win, as all 3 of these guys are, what sort of emotions and feelings do you go through at this point? What does the mind start telling you?
You get nervous, but your mind says, I've got to win this, if you know you're quick enough.
So what can you learn from, basically, when you come into this battle? I mean, you've obviously done an awful lot of testing and various driving over the course of proceedings as well. I mean, what can you learn in terms of, how it's going to work? I mean, you've obviously been doing lots of testing and lots of driving in the other heats. I mean, how can you draw upon that knowledge when you come into the race?
You just got to think about what you've done good and what you've done bad and improve on what you've done good. Improve on what you've done bad and do what you did good again.
So how do you kind of unlock that? Where's that special ingredient when you're sort of, working your way through each individual test session? Where can you find those improvements when you're battling with other drivers as they set off now for their rolling lap? What are they going to be trying to find in this first lap of formation?
They're probably going to be trying to get heat in their tyres and just concentrating on the start.
And obviously,
So nothing happens.
absolutely, and obviously that start is going to be very hectic for these guys. They've got an awful lot of work to do. So let's see how they progress and do an absolutely fantastic job in the offing. So we have our X30 Mini Finals grid. It is Alejandro Melendez and Gabriel Bektas who will run at the front of the grid from Amaury Mertens and Angelo Meli. Bogdan Ionut-Bria will line up on the third row alongside Lucas Flussercross, William Go and Sergio Ruiz, Patrice Kovalevsky and Miguel Perro-Rosalaga, Ruben Volt, Nathan Ottink and Kimi Abraham. That's your grid. We've had 4 different winners so far this weekend, Leo. Obviously last night's third heat, one of the best races I think we've seen all season as well. Who would you pick if you had to pick one driver? I know you guys, have obviously been very busy this weekend with Senior X30, but for the racing you've watched, who would you pick as your favourite coming into this? Who do you fancy for the win?
Probably Melendez because he won it at Salbris.
He did win at Salbris. He's had a very difficult weekend up to this point, but finding himself in pole position at the right time, his fight back has been absolutely tremendous. There are a couple of good talents on this grid, and there's going to be some, great battling with these drivers as they work their magic around the circuit. How far do you think the guys who are starting towards the back, your likes of Perro-Rosalaga, Nathan Ottink, Kimi Abraham, how do you think it's going to go? Who do you think can make the most progress?
I don't know because I haven't really been watching the Mini X30s, so it's hard to say.
Well, the Mini X30s are obviously going to be very, very spicy as the racing gets underway. So we will get some good racing out of them as the battle progresses. But Alejandro Melendez and Gabriel Bektas will be there in position on the first row of the starting grid. The Spanish Charge, who won at Salbris, is going to be a very interesting battle. Now, the local drivers here are going to be starting near the front, Leo. How important is local knowledge of the circuit when you come into a high-pressure race like this? How important is that going to be for them?
It'll be very important, really, because you'll know what to do and how to defend and stuff like that.
That's it. And there's parts of the circuit that you only really get to know when you run it week in, week out. So a lot of these guys who are here for the first time or even maybe the second time will have a little bit less knowledge compared to those guys who were basically brought up here.
Yeah.
Now let's see how these guys are going to continue on in the X30 Minis. Melendez, Bektas, Mertens and Angelo Meli. Jake Sanson and Leonardo Panayiotou in the commentary box here, trying to keep an eye on what's happening in X30 Minis as the racing continues. So let's see how well they will go off. Alejandro Melendez and Gabriel Bektas, the engine revs rise and they come past this into a clean start straight away. And there's a spin already. Goodness me, straight in the middle of the pack. 2 carts have come off there. And it looked to me as though Ruben Volt only just avoided it. But we've got 2 of them off, and it looks like one of them is the Belgian talent trying to move forward, Kimi Abraham, who has already started... No, sorry, Abraham is there in 8th position, so he has worked his way forward. And Ruben Volt is out of the race. Look up there, Ruben Volt, and he's absolutely livid, having gone off the circuit there, and he's down in 11th position. That's heartbreaking on the first lap, Leo.
Yeah, it is. It happened to a few people in seniors on the pre-final too, so... just makes it a lot more awkward.
And one of the other big ones who's out of the first corner is Patrice Kovalevsky. Kovalevsky, who won on the road in the last race as well. So Kovalevsky out of the race in the first corner. That's a big name to fall, and that is an absolute disaster. So we've lost 2 of the big names from this race. Patrice Kovalevsky is trying to move his cart out of the way and now get himself out of the way because he can't do it without help. But it's yellow flags into turn 1. And that is devastating. When you're so close to getting what you need out of the weekend and it's taken away from you at the last moment. Oh, hang on a moment. That's a bit of a battle for 4th place. Miguel Perro-Rosalaga having a scrap, trying to cut across. And up on the inside there, we've got the 922 trying to move forward there of Miguel Pedro Zaraga trying to cut round on the far side. Nathan Ottink is in the mix as well. So it's going to be a really interesting battle as drivers continue on their way. So a good battle. And that's going to be a really magnificent performance from those guys. But these guys are really going to struggle. Alejandro Melendez and Gabriel Bectas out in front, and a challenge already from the 961. So Bectas is in there, but it's Amaury Mertens, up into second position from third on the grid. So he's done himself an absolutely terrific job in the early stages. But the big news here is that we've lost two of the biggest names from this grid, Patrice Kovalevsky and Ruben Volt, out already. And that means that for Alejandro Melendez, it's a tough battle, but he's looking good like he was at Salbris, Leo. So Amaury Mertens and Gabriel Bectas charging after in second and third place. Angelo Melli there in fourth position. Miguel Pedro Zaraga in fifth place from Nathan Ottink. It's going to be three wide into turn one nearly, but into the lead comes Gabriel Bectas. Amaury Mertens. Mertens goes up into the lead. Bectas is now trying to come through into second place on Alejandro Melendez. But this is a big moment for the Spanish driver who is currently leading the championship, having fought his way forward. There goes Bectas. Bectas into second position. Miguel Pedro Zaraga and the fifth place man, Nathan Ottink, in fifth place. So let's see how the battle continues, because Kimi Abraham has moved up into sixth position right in front of Lucas Flusha-Cross. So this is going to be a really tense battle. And to be fair, a lot of people have been very impressed by the 9-year-old in seventh position, Lucas Flusha-Cross. When you're competing against drivers who are 2 or 3 years older than you, and this is your first season, Leo, he's done great.
It's a lot harder when there's people older than you because they're more experienced, and usually they've been in that class for a lot longer too, so it's a lot more hard.
Yeah, always going to be difficult to assert yourself, and he's put on a great show to work his way forward. Alejandro Melendez, Amaury Mertens and Gabriel Bectas are the three drivers who are going to be battling for the lead, with Amaury Mertens currently in the lead, Bectas trying to come through into second position. But this is going to be quite a battle. Melendez in third. Now Nathan Ottink has got through into fourth position past Miguel Pedro Zaraga. So it's going to be interesting to see how well he goes. Sixth place is Kimi Abraham in front of Lucas Flusha-Cross. Then in eighth place we have Sergio Ruiz in front of Angelo Melli, William Go, and then Bogdan Ianubria, who's trying to recover. It was him who spun off in that first corner incident. But now look at this. We've got 4 drivers battling away for the victory, and that's Nathan Ottink charging forward to second place. Alejandro Melendez has come through to third, and Miguel Pedro Zaraga is there in fifth position behind Gabriel Bectas. But it is Amaury Mertens who leads the way, and he said on the grid very briefly that he has a chance to win this one, and he knows it. So Amaury Mertens, local knowledge out in front, but Nathan Ottink, he's been so fast this weekend, and he is currently one of the faster drivers in the field. It must be a really good moment when you're trying to catch up with other drivers and you can feel yourself getting quicker.
Yeah, in your mind you just think that you got to catch them, and then when you do...
That is Ottink through, Melendez through. This is going to be a good battle. So Nathan Ottink has come through into the lead. Melendez through into second place. So the two Belgians, local heroes, Amaury Mertens and Gabriel Bectas, find themselves in third and fourth position. Moving up the inside is Kimi Abraham, another of the Belgian talents trying to come through. Lucas Flusha-Cross is on his tail, with Miguel Pedro Zaraga down to seventh place in front of the new fastest man on the track, Sergio Ruiz, who has done a 63.414 for the best lap time thus far of the race. Melendez there in second, chasing down Nathan Ottink. It's going to be a really interesting battle as they continue to run through the circuit on lap 5 of 11, the shortest final of the weekend. But this one is, of course, for maximum points. And Ottink in the lead, Melendez in second, and Amaury Mertens in third positions. This is going to be an interesting one for the championship. If Ottink beats Melendez, then that really opens up the championship fight, Leo.
Yeah, it will be a big battle between both of them for the last 2 rounds.
And obviously with that second round of the championship coming to a close, and then we move on to Wackersdorf in a few weeks' time, it's going to be very interesting to see how these guys battle for position. Looking over the shoulder, Nathan Ottink trying to find his way out in front, but Alejandro Melendez still there in second position. So Melendez in P2. Third is Amaury Mertens, Gabriel Bectas in fourth position, then Kimi Abraham, Lucas Flusha-Cross, Miguel Pedro Zaraga and Sergio Ruiz. It is now 8 of them line astern in a battle like this for the victory. You know that just anybody can win out of that lot, Leo. It's absolutely amazing.
It's really entertaining to watch when there's a long train of people, because anything could happen at any time.
So what's it like when you're sat right in the middle of that and you're trying to work your way forward but not lose too many places further back?
You just got to, as soon as you see a gap, you got to go for it. Otherwise, someone will overtake you, and then it just makes everything harder.
It's always going to be tough, particularly for these guys who are still starting off in their world of motor racing and X30 Minis, pushing very hard indeed. But as we saw yesterday, this has the potential to be one of the best races of the season. And here they come into that first corner once again. Gabriel Bektas trying to close up on Amaury Mertens, the first two. Nathan Ottink and Alejandro Melendez in the first two positions. Kimi Abraham fifth behind the two Belgians. Well, he's obviously one of those contingents, of course, but Lucas Fluscher-Cross is putting him under some pressure now. The 9-year-old right in there in sixth position. Then we have the two FA Racing carts of Miguel Parra-Lizarraga and Sergio Ruiz as they come through up to the top end of the circuit once again through turn 6. We have gone past half distance, 5 laps to go, and this is the business end of the race. And already we're going to get a challenge as Kimi Abraham makes the move there, doesn't try it, well, doesn't get through, I should say, makes a little bit of a lunge on Gabriel Bektas. That splits up Mertens and Bektas, so they are going to separate a little bit between third and fourth positions, but they will come off once again. And this has given Nathan Ottink a bit of a break. Look at that. He's got himself a little bit of breathing space now in front of Alejandro Melendez. And this is how he took the victory yesterday, got himself into a position and started to kick on. But there's going to be a necessity for the drivers behind to work together now, Leo. They cannot afford to let Nathan Ottink get away as through into third position, staying as Amaury Mertens. But if they want to win, they need to stop battling amongst themselves as Kimi Abraham makes the move and go for fourth position. They've got to work together if they're going to stop Nathan Ottink getting away.
Yeah, you'll be surprised how much battling actually slows you down. But a lot of the time people don't think that and they just keep going and then a bigger gap gets formed.
Well, these 8 are still all very much in contention. There's a little bit of daylight between a couple of them, particularly for Nathan Ottink for the lead. Is Kimi Abraham still in a third position now? So that's 2 more places made up for Kimi Abraham up into third position. So Abraham, who won the first heat of the weekend, is really going strong here. He's determined to make up for his retirement earlier on in the weekend. And Kimi Abraham, who obviously was out after that squabble in the first couple of corners with Nathan Ottink in the previous race. They started down at the back as a result. But these guys are going to really have to work hard to get to the front of the field again. Certainly Kimi Abraham and Alejandro Melendez, as he proved in Salisbury's, is going to be a very tough man to pass. As up the inside, that is Mertens and Bektas still squabbling away with each other for fourth position. Lucas Fluscher-Cross getting impatient and gets a window of opportunity on the inside. Miguel Parra-Lizarraga coming through as well. Those two side by side. Good bit of driving between the two of them as they continue to work their magic around the circuit. But now they will work into the tight left-hander and go back up towards turn 6. 3 laps to go. Nathan Ottink, the Dutchman, is looking good for his first final win of 2018. And Abraham's through to second place now. So Abraham through into P2. 2.5 laps to go here, Leo. He's got about a half second or so to make up on Nathan Ottink. Can he win on home soil here? Is that local experience going to help?
I think it will, but only if they stop battling and start working together.
So Melendez effectively needs to be helping Kimi Abraham move forward rather than trying to wrestle the position back, as Lucas Fluscher-Cross has got into fourth place. The 9-year-old is having an absolutely brilliant weekend here and is up into fourth place, and he's leaving the others behind for a challenge as Bektas is squabbling away with Miguel Parra-Lizarraga, Sergio Ruiz and Amaury Mertens. But up the inside comes Miguel Parra-Lizarraga on the Belgian, and he is through just. Leaves the door open for his teammate Sergio Ruiz to come through. He's not going to get through. In fact, he's going to get hung out to dry at the back of the queue. Meanwhile, Kimi Abraham has already caught right up to the back of Nathan Ottink. So it is going to be 3 drivers battling for the lead. Now, for me, Alejandro Melendez needs to be careful here in third position. If those two battle away, well, Abraham's gone straight through. Abraham takes the lead. I was going to say, if those two start battling, Melendez could get a chance to just zip past both of them. Looks like it's going to be harder than that, Leo.
It will, but they're all closer together now, so anything could happen. And also, if they're this close on the last lap, they'll start defending, so then the pack behind them might catch up.
Well, this is their chance for that to happen because we're going into the last lap now. They come across the line for one more racing lap of Mariembourg. Melendez comes out of the slipstream of the two guys battling for the lead. If he can get a good slingshot on both of them, he will have a chance to go for the lead. Ottink knows that Melendez is there. Melendez goes for the inside. Ottink tries to carry the speed round the outside. This is going to be amazing. They're almost 3 wide as now Ottink is going to have to cut across to stop Melendez coming through on the inside. Melendez is already there. And now Abraham is trying to hold him back. That's giving Ottink more of a run on the right side. Melendez keeps his foot in. Ottink goes over the grass, down to third position. Melendez rising to the challenge again here on the back of Kimi Abraham. through the right-hander, through the left, and it's either going to be one of these two if things stay as they are. Abraham and Melendez. Melendez, absolutely relentless in his bid to get the victory here. He's going to get an opportunity on the inside. Melendez is through. That's beautiful. Alejandro Melendez takes the position away from Kimi Abraham as he comes out of the right-hander. He looks back, desperately trying to get away. There is one last